All right, this is OneLastMidnight. Welcome back to another episode of Valheim. Today we're going to talk about base building and where to effectively put your bases. Bases are 100% absolutely required in Valheim, and you need to have some sort of, it doesn't need to be a super large building, but some sort of building in order to put down your crafting workstations. And by optimizing your base locations, you can effectively reduce the amount of travel time to be able to gather the resources that you require to progress efficiently in the game. Throughout the world of Valheim, you will find these derelict buildings just laying around. When you first start out, your first base should be using one of these derelict buildings. Don't waste a bunch of time gathering resources to build yourself a base when you already have half a base already completed for you, where you just need to finish out some walls and place down some roof tiles and a fire to be able to have yourself a starting base location. With a little bit of work, this derelict building can easily hold your workbench, a bed, a fire close by, and the necessary upgrades for your workbench for you to be able to comfortably start in the first two biomes. By the time you get into the Black Forest and you're working comfortably in the Black Forest, this is leather armor or this is troll armor, you should be thinking more about a permanent base. Why? Well, because you're going to have to process copper, tin, and in the future beyond that, you're also going to have to process silver. Most starting islands will have 3 biomes. Not all starting islands, these are randomly generated maps. So there's a possibility you might land on an island that only has 2 biomes, but typically you have 3 biomes on your first island. If you're lucky, you even have more. You'll always have the meadows, and you'll always have some sort of sliver of black forest. Well, always is a strong word, but most likely you will. And also most likely you will have some sort of sliver of mountains close by as well. Your first permanent base should really take into account things you're going to be doing in the future. So situating yourself between the 3 biomes on the first island is a smart place for your first base. Here we have the Black Forest that's close by. I've also kind of already marked out some crypts and some copper, which is great because we're going to need to make bronze in order to progress our crafting stations and possibly, if you want, get better gear. And then also the mountains are going to be needed for silver for after we complete biomass. So by building a base in between the Black Forest and the mountains on some sort of meadows area will give you a good staging point to be able to process not only the copper and the tin, but in the future, silver. So you can see this landing area right here is a nice little place that is very close to the Black Forest and relatively close to the mountains. And I have plenty of meadows area where I can play in to be able to get resources that I might need in the beginning stages of the game. If you've gotten yourself super lucky on your random seed and you happen to have 4 biomes that are close by in the area, the swamp, the Black Forest, the meadows, and the mountains, take it. That is the ultimate first base setup. The Black Forest again will give you your copper, tin, and bronze. The swamps are going to give you access to iron, and then the mountains is going to give you access to silver. Having a base in the middle of these 4 biomes will set you up very nicely for the end game. But again, if not, take the 3 biome setup, the meadows, the Black Forest, and the mountains to place down your first main base. When you're done with the Black Forest and you're ready to move on to the swamp, if you weren't lucky enough to get 4 biomes situated for your first base, you're going to be looking at making a second base. Iron is absolutely necessary, and the only place that you're going to get that is in the swamp. If you can, try to position yourself in a safe place that has a swamp, a Black Forest, and a meadows. Of course, it would be most optimum to have the 4 biomes, also to have a mountain region here, because you're going to have to move into the mountain region after the swamp. But it's absolutely necessary to be close to a Black Forest, because if you're processing ore, you're going to need to do the crafting updates, which are going to require copper, bronze, and tin. So when it's time to put down some sort of processing station to process iron, make sure at the very least that you have a Black Forest close by. If you have followed my advice, your first base will either be close to Plains Mountains Black Forest or Plains Mountain Black Forest Swamp, which puts you in a great position to make your final base, which is going to be somewhere close to the plains. Following the same concept, you should be looking for multiple biomes close by before you set down your plains base. In this example, it's kind of like the perfect example. I'm close to iron if I need iron for my plains base, which I will if I want to advance into padded armor. But it's also close to Black Forest for me to be able to get copper for my crafting stations, and next to mountains in case I need resources such as obsidian for obsidian arrows. If you're playing solo, a little configuration like this on your map is going to be enough to be able to produce enough black metal that you need, and also for you to be able to get, more importantly, a base set up so that you can grow flax and barley. All right, well, that is it for this episode on where to effectively build your base locations. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Remember, just try to set yourself up in some area that's relatively close to multiple biomes, and one specifically that are needed for you to be able to progress to the next tier of items. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, hit that like button. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. Would love to have you in the community. If you want to follow me on any of my social media, you can find the links in the description below, and make sure to hit that notification bell. That way you know when I go live and when I post new videos. I'll talk to you later. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.